We're taking a look at the ESPN 2025 NFL Draft Quarterback Prospect Rankings, the hot board, as Jordan Reid called it. 13 prospects were ranked on this list. We'll mention them in order and also mention what the projected range was for each of these guys. So, number 1, according to ESPN, to the surprise of few, because ESPN has really hyped him up, Shedeur Sanders. There are things I like. He's got a very quick throwing motion. He's generally very accurate. I think his poise, despite being pretty pressured a lot, is solid. He does tend to take too many sacks. His pressure to sack rate is still a little bit too high. I don't think the arm is special, and I would be most worried less about the on-field stuff and more about like, hey, he called out his offensive line, he called out his old teammates. Like, is that a potential concern? Can you get him outside of the Dion bubble that might make things like, can he lead A-Rock? All the intangible stuff is probably a bigger concern. He doesn't run much because he's not a true, Jaden Daniels dual threat, but he can move in the pocket and has some ability as a runner. Just a lot of sacks have brought that figure down. Projected range was round 1. I think someone takes him in round 1, but I think those combine interviews in the pre-draft process will be pretty critical for him. So who do you think will be the first quarterback taken in the 2025 NFL Draft? Let me know in the comments of today's video. Number 2 is Cam Ward. I have seen Cam Ward play really good football before. We saw it at Washington State to open up several seasons in a row. The thing that he's done better with is he has cut down some of the, I call it his intrusive thoughts, where sometimes he's a little bit too much of a gunslinger for me. And you've seen it against Cal, against Virginia Tech. So I'm just like, he's passing on the easy stuff, trying to find the highlight reel play, and it just leads to carelessness and disastrous head-scratching decisions that remind me too much of some Zach Wilson, Will Levis stuff. He holds the ball very long to hunt for those big plays. He has shown the clutch gene, though, as well. And if you're a team that has a quarterback that just doesn't make plays for you, like the Giants and Daniel Jones, I can see why you would be very intrigued by Cam Ward. I still think some second half season consistency is needed. That has gotten him into trouble in his previous 2 years at Washington State. Let's go to Carson Beck at Georgia. Now, the first 2 guys were first-round picks. This is late day 1, early day 2. He was kind of like the placeholder number 1 quarterback to an extent. He was solid. He was steady. He's pretty efficient. He's pretty accurate, all things considered. But I don't know if he has the elite elevating talent. Now, I'll give him credit. He bounced back after a disastrous start against Alabama. But you ask people around the league, and they keep mentioning like Jared Goff. And if you get Jared Goff out on a rookie contract, that's really good. But if it's like Jared Goff under pressure and the structure plays aren't there, is that the type of ceiling you're aiming for with like a top 10 pick? Maybe day 2 is the proper range for him. Jalen Milroe, meanwhile, number 4 on this list, is not like Carson Beck. He has a very strong arm, fantastic running ability, and plenty of dual threat playmaking skills. And the ability to just do a lot of very impressive stuff, pushing the ball downfield, making guys miss as a runner. There are times where he just holds the ball too long, doesn't feel pressure very well, and the intermediate passing isn't great. He's got great deep ball stuff, fits really well in this Kalen DeBoer-led offense, but I think the intermediate passing is an area of concern and questions, and you saw some bad stuff against South Carolina. Got to bounce back against the big-time Tennessee defense. So how many quarterbacks go in round 1 this year? Let me know in the comments section, at the pinned comment, actually, of today's video, how many round 1 quarterbacks are there in this year's class. Number 5, Quinn Ewers. This, again, was a late day 1, early day 2 pick, just like Beck and Milroe, according to ESPN. I I remain frustrated watching Quinn Ewers. Like, he's fairly composed under pressure, but his footwork is so bad. And look, footwork is a personal thing, and if it works for you, great. But I consistently see him step up in the pocket and miss guys high. I can't have that. That leads to picks. You saw it against Oklahoma. He missed dudes wide open downfield. So I remain unsold on Quinn Ewers. He's not pushing the ball downfield right now. His air yards per attempt is 122nd in the FBS. 34% of them have come at or behind the line of scrimmage. The downfield passing, outside of really 2 games, hasn't consistently been there yet. That is what you got to see over the remainder of this year's campaign. In the early to mid day 2 range, it's Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. In many ways, sometimes checks off that the old son of the coach, typecasting. He's the son of Doug Nussmeier. He actually makes more mistakes, though, than what you would normally expect to see out of the old coach's kid mindset. He just, got some what are you doing making that choice? He doesn't take many sacks. He does turn the ball over and is a bit more aggressive and risky than I would like to see there. But there are some flashes. If I were Nussmeier, I don't know if a 1-year sample size is going to be what you want to just put on film. I would say going back to school would be a good thing for Garrett. Give him some more development and get some more meat on his body, too. He's listed at 6'2", 200 pounds. That's pretty slender for a QB. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. It's just curation, designed to save you even more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. The Game Time guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So do this. Go to GameTime.co, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. You'll pull up the app, click that profile button in the bottom right. You'll see redeem code, plug in CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, for $20 off. Terms apply, but create that account, redeem the code, and get $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time with the link in the comment section and the description of today's show. So what time is it? It's game time. Drew Allers, number 7 here. By the way, the Penn State offensive coordinator, Andy Nicky, I think is how it's pronounced. If not, I'm terribly sorry, Andy, has done a fantastic job. His percentage is already up 10% this year, which is a massive jump to 70.5%. The tools are there. Size, arm strength. He's only 20 years old if he enters the draft. He still has to beat the Gen Z Christian Hackenberg allegations, though. He is Gen Z, right? I'm pretty sure he's Gen Z. Strong arm. The accuracy is just not always there. And there's some head-scratching mistakes. He will get to prove himself, just like Penn State in general will, when they play Ohio State in November. That is the most challenging game. Their schedule's kind of easy. It's Wisconsin, OSU, Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, Maryland. He can get him to the CFP, and that will get him plenty of attention in the draft as well. But the traits are intriguing. The finished product is not there yet. Number 8 is Jackson Dart. This one is mid to late day 2. He screams backup QB to me. If you want that backup QB to execute your offense and manage the game, I think Jackson Dart can do that because he has benefited, just like, frankly, Quinn Ewers has, from one of the better offensive minds in college football. The Ole Miss offense, which is great for college, is a negative for evaluating NFL players, is a bit of a Mickey Mouse offense. Dudes are open every time. There's a lot of easy throws, open guys. I get worried when it comes to getting beyond that first read and progression, because he doesn't have to do it that much relative to other teams. So I think there's backup ability here for sure, but I don't know if there's enough just overall processing ability and top-end arm talent. It's a good arm, but it's not an elite arm, to justify him being like, yeah, this is our franchise guy. Backup, though? Yeah, for sure. If you guys want more NFL Draft YouTube videos, in the right spot. Hit that sub button right now so you don't miss out on anything. Miller Moss is the first of the early to mid day 3 picks for the projected range on ESPN. And this is kind of where I think you kind of don't have the same caliber of talent. I think even Jackson Dart, too. Look, he is a gutty quarterback. He'll try to throw things in there. The offensive line is not good. His arm is not very good either. I think he is very much a limited quarterback. I don't really see starting caliber stuff here. He had a good week 1, been a bit up and down since then. I think this is more of a backup type of QB. I think that's where all these guys are. Curtis Rourke is next up, and this has been a riser this year. This is the Indiana quarterback. I think his overall play probably has more to the fact that I think Curt Cignetti is a fantastic coach. I think he's awesome. Because Curtis Rourke, if you don't know, I went to Miami of Ohio, so I watched a lot of MAC games because I care. He wasn't that good last year for Ohio. He really wasn't. He was better in 2022, but he has a very high completion percentage. He looks better against better competition this year. Now it's about to get more challenging. He's got Michigan and Ohio State on the schedule here. He's also been in college for 6 years. He's an old guy, but he's going to give himself a chance in the NFL now. OSU fans might not like this one. Kyle McCord transferred from Ohio State to Syracuse, and I think he looks better at Syracuse this year than he did at Ohio State last season, which doesn't really make any sense because he had better playmakers at Ohio State. So the growth here is pretty impressive. He gets the ball out quickly. There are still times where the general accuracy is not high enough. In terms of the balls are too high. It's not good enough is probably the proper terminology there. I think he can get a chance as maybe a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick if he goes pro. I think there's still plenty of development left for Kyle McCord. Number 12 is Dylan Gabriel. You have an undersized prospect here. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's been in college for 6 seasons. He's transferred twice. He does a good job of the short area of the field stuff, but I don't think his arm is good enough. I don't think he has a true NFL caliber arm. It is the Oregon Mickey Mouse offense where it's short stuff, it's wide open. He's got constant dudes that are just easy pitch and catches there. He is a very good college quarterback. I think he is going to be limited as a QB2 at best, maybe QB3 in the NFL. Finally, Will Howard, and this one got the undrafted free agent projection from ESPN. Look, I am still a little bit surprised that Ohio State built what they have called the best roster in college football history and put Will Howard in charge of the offense as just like a game manager. To be quite honest, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but he is, statistically speaking, is one of the worst quarterbacks in football under pressure. It's bad. He takes sacks. He doesn't go through his progressions. When it's on time, when it's easy, he can make the throws. He's tough. He's physical. He can run a little bit. When he gets heated up, it kind of all falls apart. And that was actually a big reason why Kansas State said, we're going to go with Avery Johnson instead. So UDFA grade feels about right so far. Chance to bump it up, though, if he plays well down the stretch. The 13 names were on that ESPN big board. Did they leave anybody off it? If so, let me know in the comments section. I got a couple names I want to mention here. The Connor Wigman stock has gone from he could be quarterback 1 to he wasn't even on the ESPN list. I think a transfer might be best for Wigman. He was better against Missouri, by the way, which I think is a big deal for him. The consistencies overall have just not been good enough. The arm is fine, but He has not played well for the most part against big competition. That hasn't changed on the stretch this year. Riley Leonard looks outright bad at Notre Dame. He can run, but he's not throwing the ball downfield at all successfully. He just doesn't look very good. Donovan Smith, at one point, had some fans preseason I want to mention around because he's been terrible. He got benched at one point in Houston. Under the radar, Cade Klubnik, with more mobility, has played well for Clemson. Maybe could have been worth mentioning, though I think he should go back to school. And one small school guy for you, Mark Gronowski at South Dakota State. I want to mention him as well.